Fish don't have lungs that can fill with water, so they don't drown in the traditional sense. The surface area of a small tank is limited. And without an air pump or filter to cycle the water, carbon dioxide builds up while oxygen runs out. This shows us that water creatures have a crazy good power to adapt. This explains why thousands of dead fish have been washing up from Florida to Texas. Imagine a fish starts to drown. Would that be possible? Fish live in water their whole lives, so the dots don't really connect, right? Well, you're about to change your mind. By the end of this video, you'll know secrets about fish that most people never learn. Because according to marine biology experts at the University of Miami, the answer might surprise you more than you think. I won't keep you hanging. Hear this. Right now, thousands of dead fish are washing up on beaches from Florida to Texas. And scientists have discovered it's not just one thing killing them. It's a storm of disasters. So stay tuned because you're going to want to hear this. Let's start with the technical truth. Do fish drown? Oh boy, this is interesting. According to the Collins Dictionary, drowning means to die by immersion in liquid. So technically, no. As Science Trends explains, fish do not drown in the traditional sense. But there's a plot twist. They can suffocate underwater. According to Science Trends research, suffocate or asphyxiate is actually a better term to describe what happens to fish. Think of it this way. You drown when your lungs fill with water and can't get oxygen. Fish don't have lungs, but they can still die from lack of oxygen. Not a technical drowning, but still very similar. Did you know that air contains 210,000 parts per million of oxygen, while water only has 4 to 8 parts per million? That means fish are living in an environment with almost no oxygen compared to us. How do they even survive? Well, it's because they have an amazing biology of breathing. Superpowers, I guess you can call it that. Fish have these organs called gills that sort of work like lungs in the water. Most fish have 4 such gills on each side of their body. Why so many? Because the surface of the gills needs to be massive to compensate for lack of oxygen in water compared to air. These gills are made up of special cells called epithelium. When water flows over them, they instantly filter the oxygen molecules and absorb them into the fish's bloodstream. And just like lungs do with air, they also release carbon dioxide at the same time. So how is this related to fish drowning? Well, think of sharks. They have to keep swimming for water to push through their gills and provide them with oxygen. If they stop moving, they die within minutes. No swimming means no water filtered, resulting in lack of oxygen and asphyxiation. Yup, you could say they drown. And this dark secret belongs to more fish than you thought. According to marine biologist Marco Vindes from Norwegian University of Life Sciences, several shark species are trapped in the swimming nightmare. White sharks, hammerhead sharks, and mackerel sharks must swim constantly for their gills to absorb oxygen. That's because they use something called ram ventilation, which basically means they ram water through their gills by swimming forward non-stop. But I have some good news too. Not all sharks are doomed. According to Science Norway, most other sharks can rest on the seafloor and sleep there because their gills pump water even without swimming. Now, what about your own fish tank? The University of Miami scientists discovered something terrifying about what's happening in home aquariums. So let's drop the bombshell. If you have a goldfish in a small bowl without a filter, it's slowly suffocating. Wondering why? Oxygen does dissolve into water from the surface, right? Yes, but the surface area of a small tank is limited. And without an air pump or filter to cycle the water, carbon dioxide builds up while oxygen runs out. According to research, this creates the same effect as being trapped in a sealed room where the air gets worse and worse. Your fish starts gasping at the surface, trying to get oxygen from the tiny bit of air-water contact at the top of the tank. It's best to add a filter to their tank. No one could live comfortably if they need to function in emergency mode for their entire life. Wait until you hear about the fish that literally walked out of the ocean because they were tired of drowning. This led to something mind-blowing about human evolution. Millions of years ago, some fish got so fed up with low oxygen water that they developed the ability to breathe air and even walk on land. According to Science Norway, these incredible creatures still exist today. They are called lungfish, and their scientific name, Dipnoi means those who breathe in two ways. These fish have both gills and lungs that extend from their gut behind their gills. The African lungfish can actually survive droughts by burrowing into mud and breathing air with their lungs for months, while eels can absorb oxygen through their skin and survive on land for days if it's wet and cold. This shows us that water creatures have a crazy good power to adapt to all sorts of conditions. But the question that lies ahead now is, how far can their power of adaptation go? Because they are currently going through an ocean crisis, so how much more can they adapt before their bodies give in? Since 2023, the ocean temperatures are breaking records, and this, through a chain reaction, is creating underwater dead zones, the size of entire countries. According to University of Miami researchers, the Atlantic Ocean and Gulf of Mexico are warming up more and more, becoming like hot baths. Like Professor Martin Grossel explains, as temperature increases, the amount of oxygen available decreases. The Global Oxygen Network reports that low oxygen dead zones in our oceans have already grown by 1.7 million square miles since the 1960s, which is scary because Dr. Danielle McDonald from the University of Miami discovered that when water temperature goes up, fish metabolism goes up too. It means that they need more oxygen at exactly the same time when there's less oxygen available. In these low oxygen environments, the ocean floor releases something called sulfide. Professor Grossel calls it a respiratory toxicant. And while fish are already struggling to breathe in hot, oxygen-poor water, while their metabolism is racing and in desperate need for more oxygen than ever, this toxic gas starts seeping up from below. This explains why thousands of dead fish have been washing up from Florida to Texas. It's not just one problem, but multiple disasters happening at once. And if disasters keep happening at this rate, can you even picture how our entire ocean will look like by 2080? Scientists have made their predictions. Looking at a 2021 study published in Geophysical Research Letters, by the year 2080, about 70% of our global oceans will experience major oxygen loss, which means that right now, we are watching the ocean suffocate in real time. Yet, let's not forget that over the centuries, fish have mastered the art of war against climate change. They adapt, they shrink, they even rebuild their proteins to work better at different temperatures. So when we think about the future, everything that's going on might change what fish look like forever. And the evidence is undeniable. Recent research discovered that as oceans get warmer, fish get smaller. Yep, they shrink. If you want to know how it happens and understand how it is possible for fish to change their size, check out the video where we discuss what the recent study on clownfish has revealed. But the point is, fish are evolving in real time. And it looks like the average size of fish is going to be smaller in the future warm ocean. Now, let's put everything together and connect the dots. Fish don't have lungs that can fill with water, so they don't drown in the traditional sense. But when they are deprived of oxygen, because there's not enough in the water, or because they stop swimming, or because their gills get damaged or toxic gases poison them, they can suffocate. The oceans are getting warmer, oxygen levels are dropping, dead zones are expanding, and fish are shrinking to survive. From all of this, what conclusions can you draw? What is the most shocking thing you learned today? Drop a comment to let me know. And if you want to hear more science-based facts about life in the ocean, smash that subscribe button and keep an eye here. Until next time.